Alright, so we're into the van again. If you look up here where I'm spraying these bolts on the coming off the manifold for the exhaust system. And the reason is that P0420 code came back. So this, what that means is that the cycle finally ran through, and you know the engine keeps testing itself after you clear a code. And even though I did all the stuff, it came back again. So you know, I went ahead and I got on Rock Auto, and I let's get you. And I ordered the whole Y pipe assembly with the two cats, which are right here. Boom, boom. They've got two different versions over there at Rock Auto. They've got one that's what is it? It's Walker, and I think out the door, I mean delivered rather, better way to put it, is it's like $1,400 something. So we're shipping, you know, $1,500 or so, and then they had another one by this AP something, and you know I just wasn't really sure. That one was $6 something. Turns out it's like $650 something shipped. It's coming from the East Coast. So I went online, I went on YouTube, right? I talked to a couple buddies of mine, and I watched some videos. And you know, people talk about aftermarket catalytic converters, and there's a couple videos out there that they don't like them, but the issues with those cats were the placement of the O2 sensor, where it gets it interferes. The O2 sensor ends up interfering with other parts of the engine, that sort of thing. That's really shouldn't be a problem with this system. The pictures look like the O2 sensors are in the right spot, but also here, you know, there's a lot of room around this O2 sensor. It's not hitting anything. Same with the one up here. And as you guys may remember, the one over here, you know, so if that O2 sensor is relatively in the same spot, I think we're golden. There's not a lot of complaints about the O2 sensor not really doing its job. But it was more like that, the manufacturing and how they're not matching up to factory specs. There was a couple videos from the company that manufactures them. And one of those videos, it's a guy that he's just sitting there at a table. He's pretty nonchalant about it, and he's like, "Oh, we make tens of thousands of these," and talks about the CARB compliant ones. Those are CARB, the ones for California. Okay, and the California ones, really the only difference is it has to do 60% of the nitrous. I want to say nitrous oxide, but that might be the wrong term. Versus 30% on the other ones, and the other two contaminants are at 75%, and they all meet that. And then the other thing is just a longer warranty, like a 50,000 mile warranty. They have to be designed tough enough to last that long. So, seeing as mine are, well, I did have the front one replaced, and about a year or so ago. However, been running those original factory spider injectors, right? That spider injector fuel system, and all the other stuff I've been doing with the fuel system cleaners, all that. You know, I probably cleaned out a lot of the stuff up front, but then that's got to go through the cat. So I probably damaged the cat even worse, is what I'm thinking. And you know, I feel like even though I've done all this work with the new O2 sensors and the new spider injector system, and the sensors up on the throttle body, all that, you know, when I step on it in the morning, sometimes it still feels slightly hesitant to the pedal. off the pedal rather, and I'm just thinking, I mean, that's the only thing it could be, I think, at this point. I was kind of putting that off because I didn't want to have to do it. It doesn't seem like it's going to be a tough thing. Every day I'm going to spray those bolts down between now and the whole Y pipe assembly should be here by the 15th, which happens to be the anniversary. November 15th is the anniversary of the day I earned the Eagle Globe and Anchor at Paris Island. So it'd be nice if it gets here by then. That following weekend, 19th and 20th, either of those days, I'll go over to Dave's, already talked to him about that. We'll do the job there only because I'm nervous. When we cut the muffler off and did all that work before, one of those bolts was frozen and I snapped it. And Dave has the ability to torch a hole right through there, which is super fast. Trying to drill a hardened steel bolt, it could take a long time and go through bits and everything else, and nobody wants to deal with that. With what Dave's got with his torches and everything, he could cut that hole in a minute. You're done. And then boom, just get a nut and bolt and throw through there and you're golden. So anyhow, wish me luck on that. I'm hoping it's going to be my last thing with this for a while as far as all that stuff goes. And if you think about it, I've mentioned this before, all your engine is an air pump. It sucks air in, forces air out. The catalytic converters have these precious metals in there that are designed to collect the impurities coming out of the engine so that you have cleaner crap coming out of your tailpipe. If that honeycomb in there is gunked up, it's going to slow down your airflow coming out of the engine. That's going to give you some issues, right? And what happens then is that your O2 sensors are sensing this. They're sending a message to the computer. Your computer's telling your fuel injectors how much fuel to put in the mix, and it's putting more fuel in. So your fuel consumption is ridiculous. You're wasting money. People will say, you got a P0420 code? Engine lights on? No big deal. You could drive like that. Absolutely, you can drive like that, but it is not efficient. And with the price of gas these days, why would you do that? I mean, you would do it because you can't afford the parts. That's the reason. I get that. But, you know, I'm taking the chance on this. Well, they're all aftermarket anyhow. You can't buy a factory one. So I'm taking a chance on the least costly one. You guys will follow along. You'll see what's happening with that. Hopefully it'll work out. I think it'll work out fine. If you go to AutoZone, they only carry... it's not Flowmaster, but it's another company like that. And their Y-pipe assemblies with the two cats on there are $3,400 before tax and all that. That's crazy. I would feel fine buying the Walker one off Rock Auto for $1,400. We'll call it $15, you know, with the shipping. If I would have had to buy that, I would have done it. But according to Rock Auto, they had at least one left of the AP Eastern. I think that's what it is, the company, of the $600, $740, whatever it works out to be. That's less than half of the Walker. So I figured, you know what? Let's give it a shot. Let's see what happens. We'll see how it goes. Hopefully it'll do the trick, and this thing will be more efficient, and I'll burn less fuel, get better MPGs. Looking forward to that. And who knows? Maybe that has something to do with that weird vibration up front. I doubt it. But you never know. I don't know anymore. Just don't know. Just trying everything at this point, and upgrading along the way. And I still got a pretty good attitude about the whole thing. Have a good day. Be good to one another. Stick around. Tomorrow is 10 November. That's the Marine Corps birthday. So Semper Fi, all the devil dogs out there, and have a good time. I got a neighbor who was in the Navy. So I might pop down there with a couple bottles or something and commiserate with that guy. Bye for now. So just before I let you go, here's the axle going to the transfer case up front, the new CV. Something was dripping here, but I think that was stuff I sprayed in. But I'm looking at this mount here. It's kind of tweaked on an angle there, and that bushing, I don't know, man. It looks a little anemic to me. That could be the vibration issue, is just that bushing in there. I don't know. What do you guys think? Let me know. Everything else, all the control arm bushings have all been replaced and all that. So, you know, trying to sort it, man. That might be it. Tell me what you think.